Welcome to the first episode of our new podcast, Roots and Real. I'm one of your hosts, Guerrero. Oh, I don't have an applause. I thought I kind of felt like an applause was going to come in.
We'll add it.
We'll add it later. And that other voice you hear is who will be known as La Co-host.
La co-host.
Hey, co-host, how are you?
Good.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, this is Roots and Real. And I guess we should start off by talking about why we wanted to make Roots and Real. Specifically, it's about to be the inauguration. When we're recording this, it's about to be the inauguration of Donald Trump 2.0.
Unfortunately. Yeah, I think for me personally, it was just made it very obvious that there is an issue with the way people get information
Yeah.
and what they actually believe and what they don't believe, right? And everyone's talking about it online, but I don't think anyone's really doing much to kind of address that specific issue.
Yeah.
So obviously everyone knows you as Che Guerrero and, artivist extraordinaire. It's a creepy little laugh.
No, I appreciate Artivist Extraordinaire. I'm trying to. I think I'm in my Bad Bunny phase of creating art that is more geared towards my people and speaking to people who had upbringings like I did in the immigration system. So I feel like I no longer want to create art or any kind of really anything that I create now. Content really that is just, has the white gaze, as they say.
Yeah.
And this is perfect because the white gaze is about to be very strong come after the inauguration.
Lord, yeah. Yes, I mean, I think that everyone knows you, right? And knows or assumes that you do some research and ideally look up what you're sharing with everyone. But we have found that in the same way that you do and a lot of other people do, admittedly, don't show how they got to that point.
Yeah.
Right? Like they may cite some sources here and there. Sometimes they don't even do that, right? They're just kind of sharing information without bigger context.
Yeah.
And a lot of lends itself to the fact that it's a short recording, right? So you can only put so much in every post. But it's also kind of goes to legitimacy, right? And that's a big question in the next 4 years and beyond, honestly.
Yeah.
With the way we're seeing technology develop, right?
Yeah.
And I will go down the rabbit hole if you let me.
No, it's fine.
And then there's AI and all those other issues, right?
Exactly.
So point is for me, I recognize the importance of this mission that we're trying to help the world kind of attain, right? Of how to find the right information.
And that's exactly what is to get to the root of it.
Yeah.
The point of this podcast isn't just me bringing you the news like most traditional news medias do. Is we're actually going to research something that we have heard about or something that might be very important in the news, but we can't always go off of the headline.
Right.
Or we can't just go off of the little, like you said, the 2-minute, 3-minute TikToks that don't give full context, don't give nuance. And a lot of times, like I said, the way they present the news, they don't tell you how they got there.
Yeah.
So this show, Roots and Real, is for us to get down to the root cause and the real story of things that are going on currently in the past. We're gonna have a lot of different topics. And what was great is we looked this up, and Roots and Real is also a mathematical phrase.
Yeah.
So it's like, another way of saying is the math ain't mathing. We're not gonna take that as gospel.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that's also where our phrase "show us your work" comes from, right? And
we already have segments lined up. We haven't told them yet. We're gonna have segments lined up.
Well, they need to learn.
Tell them about like one of the ideas that we have. Down the road.
I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to share.
I mean that was great because we're also not going to be the kind of show where you can't send in thoughts, ideas. We want
legitimate thoughts and ideas.
Legitimate thoughts and ideas.
To troll us for
no
reason.
we're not gonna do the whole playing the devil advocate. I hate that. You're giving credence to white supremacy and fascism and all that stuff. No, we're not gonna do that. But
although there are some arguments not that.
Whoa, I was like, did I pick the wrong co-host?
No. No, I'm just saying not in those topics, but there are some topics that I think that are worth kind of looking at both sides. Not, just basic human rights. No, I'm talking about when we talk about, I don't know, like in the future, intellectual property rights, right? And like what is AI and where does it come from? What are the issues relating to it? The sides, the kind of conversation on the creative side that it helps people out, et cetera, right? Then there's the flip side of the environmental effects, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Preview of a future episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, things like that, I do think, just as a caveat, I think it's worth recognizing that sometimes not playing devil's advocate, but understanding the devil's side and just being prepped with a response to that.
I feel like there is sometimes where that sort of like how do we figure out how to combat climate change? You know, let's listen. We don't need to hear the oil executive side. I think they are pretty much on the side of letting it burn, as we've seen in California.
Oh Lord,
that's where we're starting. That's where we're starting.
Oh, okay. I mean, right. That just is happening.
It's happening, you know. And by the way, this is another great example of why something like Roots and Real is important. You know. There was so much misinformation about, you know, the fires in California, what was causing it. You know, it was the high winds. It was, you know, a very dry season. Climate change is a big factor of it. But there was a lot of people on a lot of different sides of the conversation giving false information.
Right. Yeah. And just framing people in like negative light without context, right? The whole Gavin Newsom and like the way he may or may not have handled the situation. Meanwhile, he was actually out there trying to, like, on the grounds, trying to do something about it. Like, however your perception is of this man, it's irrespective. Like, in the moment, he was down in the ground, right?
Yeah.
And there's just weird concepts that people kind of run with.
Yeah. I wish I had the video right now, because during the fires, I saw a video that was like, it was shocking. I mean, there was a lot of shocking stuff. So I don't mean to downplay any of this, but this video, like, you know how I always say, like, white women could just pretty much, like, they could do anything. This one white woman ran up to Gavin Newsom and was like, Gavin, what do you, she called him Gavin, first of all.
Because that's the homie.
I was like, whoa, they're on a first name basis.
That's crazy.
She was like, Gavin, what are you going to do about my house? What are you and Biden going to do about my house? And then he's like, I'm actually on the phone with I'm trying to get on the phone with Biden, but the cell tower system is not working. She's like, can I stay near you until you get on the phone with Biden?
There's no way that happens.
I swear to God, I saw that video
on the internet, right? Where
that was a real video.
I question everything, and we'll dive deep into that later.
But no, that's what we need.
What?
I've never seen somebody just be like, hysterical. You know what I mean? Let me see. Keep going. Yeah. Okay, let's see if I can look it up.
Also, bear with us as we, you know, maneuver tech things.
Yeah, because we're gonna be looking up things. We're gonna be showing them on the screen. That's why if you're
show it on the screen.
No, I'm gonna show them on. Oh, here it is. Okay, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna bring it up right now. All right, so here's the video. We're gonna take it from here. Okay. All right. So you know this is a real video. I'm gonna fast forward it to when she actually sees Gavin Newsom. Check this out.
The governor, I live here, governor. That was my daughter's school, governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
California Governor Gavin.
So, like, I'm sorry. Okay, so you know that was from Fox. Good Day LA.
She didn't call him Gavin.
I know. First, okay. See, that's how. All right. So I got caught in the first one.
It's fine.
So you saw that she actually went up to him. She was like, Mr. Governor. Okay, so she went up with respect, Mr. Governor.
For a hot second, respect.
She got past security.
Right. How do you just approach this man? And then she's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna kill him." How do you believe this woman?
How do you believe this woman? I'm not gonna kill him.
You don't know? Didn't Get Out teach us anything? Like.
And she just goes, I'm trying to get on the phone. Well, let me be on the phone while you're with him. Like
in what world? The audacity.
I was like, wow. Try a person of color because there was like a black neighborhood that got burned down, and they're afraid, you know, they're not gonna be able to rebuild because they're usually the last ones to get any kind of assistance. Yeah. Let one of those residents have gone up to Gavin Newsom. Right. It would have been a very different situation.
Even if you go up with Mr. Governor.
Mr. Governor.
That's all right. Well, there you go. Okay, so friends, this is why we're doing the show, right? So, for example, he talked about this video, and I was like, I don't believe, because it sounds ridiculous, right? So I was like, I don't believe you. He was like, okay, bet, as we New Yorkers say.
Yeah, bet.
And he was like, I will pull up the video now. So this is just a small kind of like taste of the idea of all this, right? That like if you hear something and if you see something, even if you don't necessarily question it, even if you kind of believe it, it doesn't hurt to kind of look it up on your own, right? Just don't assume that, especially social media, is telling you the truth, right? Or that your friend just reposted something, or typed something out and posted it, and you just take it for, you know, complete and total facts without questioning it.
Yeah. And like we've seen, especially now that Meta,
Mhm.
Zuckerberg has just said that he's going to take away a lot of the, community guidelines.
Mhm.
So you're going to be able to spread misinformation about the LGBT community, immigrants, and he expects us to fact check him. So,
Mhm.
all right, this is how we get people.
Right. I mean, it has to be kind of independent work like this. It has to come from people that are content creators online or have already kind of been in the mix. And just, again, we encourage everyone to cite their sources at a bare minimum, right? Like maybe you don't have the time or bandwidth to actually sit there and record your step by step, right? Totally get that. But at bare minimum, cite your sources. And then it's on everyone else to look it up and to kind of educate yourselves, especially in the world that we're about to enter.
Yeah.
Right. The world we're about to enter is completely unknown, is as unprecedented as my entire life, what feels like, because but yeah, because of all that, I think we have to just educate ourselves, right? The whole, as corny as it sounds, the whole education is power is not a joke. Like, it's very real.
That's why they don't want
us.
Really,
actually, not education. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Right? I mean, education is also powerful, but
it depends on the type of education and where you're
at.
Yeah, and like whether or not you got certain books that are banned. Just
yeah,
context.
You're right. Not every education is made equal.
That's why I was like, no, knowledge and like real knowledge.
Knowledge is power. Yeah. But you know what? Education is where the oligarchs have their power by what they teach us, and that's why a lot of people on Reddit were discovering, seeing people in China talk about their own lives in their own way, because
they got grocery stores.
They got they have Walmarts.
Right.
And I was like, they have Walmarts,
and everyone's like, they have Walmarts. That's allowed. Yeah, exactly.
But actually, you know what? Red Note is the perfect segue into sort of what the main episode today was going to be about. Is going to be about it's the TikTok ban.
Right.
Let's pull that up right here.
So we're releasing this on January 20th.
Yeah.
D-Day, but January 19th, as we'll all obviously very well know at this point, is the day that TikTok went away for a hot second, per usual, and kind of came back right away. What was it, like a couple hours?
Like 12? I was on stage. Remember, I was on stage.
Right.
So let me tell y'all. Let's go back real quick. Let me tell y'all how I found out that the TikTok ban officially went into effect. Right. So I was at the Punchline in Philadelphia.
I was there too.
Yeah, the co-host was there taking notes, making sure that the jokes were joking. And as I'm on stage, just this one woman at around 10:30, because I was almost wrapping up, goes, "Oh no, TikTok has been banned."
But like full voice, though.
Full voice.
It wasn't even like she was trying to say it to her friend, or that's what made it even more funny. That I was like, "Yes, let him know." Yeah. This is important news.
I'm here on stage, very proud of myself that TikTok finally got me to a place where I was able to like get 100, almost 100. It was 90. You know what? This is Roots and Real, and I got to keep it real. It was 90 people. Okay, but 90 people
that's a good amount of people.
That's a good amount of people. 90 people is, I'll be real, I'm gonna keep it real. It's the most people that's ever come out to see me perform.
Why did I ask you that earlier and you didn't say yes? Like you were just like giving me all these qualifiers. She was like, "Well,
I just didn't
primarily me."
I didn't want to. I was omitting. That's
still a lie. Lie by omission, my friends.
Still a lie. So. Yeah, and it was such a weird place to be at, where I'm like, I got to this point, which is pretty big for my career, because of TikTok, and then a lady in the audience goes, "Your dream is dead." Like, damn, lady, you just sniped me.
Right.
All right, so this is the tweet. All right, sorry if the edits are a little off. We're still chopping. We're still trying to figure this out and not have to like have rambling on for you. Okay, so this is the tweet by AMXYA17 _____. All right. This is literally a stunt, all planned by Trump. Look at how the message changed within 20 minutes. ... ellipses. Trump is going to come in office and play savior by unbanning the app to get more sympathy and likes from the public. Do not fall for this BS. And this is la co-host. This is you're going to read now the initial message that went out when the app went dark.
Right, exactly. So first, TikTok posted, important update from TikTok. We regret that a U.S. law banning TikTok will take effect on January 19 and force us to make our services temporarily unavailable. We're working to restore our service in the US as soon as possible. We appreciate your support. Please stay tuned. So pretty straightforward, just letting us know that there is going to be a ban, it's going to cause issues,
went into
and
effect.
that's it, right?
Yeah.
Now, apparently, I mean, according to the post, again, I like to acknowledge whenever we don't know something is fact.
Right.
No offense to Amaya, but we don't know if what you're saying is true, right?
Yeah.
In terms of, I saw both messages myself, so I know that those messages are true.
Yeah.
Right. That's personal experience. I saw them myself. Whether they change within 20 minutes, I don't know if that's true. I know they changed though, because when we first saw it, we saw the message on the left.
Right. This is the initial ones that came out. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I saw it both ways. I did. I first saw it, the first one, whether it was 20 minutes or not, but within the time, I didn't realize that they had changed the message.
Changed it.
Oh, that's because I was like, wait, where's this one that says Trump? No, they changed it to say Trump.
Right, exactly. So that's the one on the right, and obviously we're covering it. So
right.
But y'all also, if you have TikTok, you saw that message.
Yeah. What did that say?
So that said, sorry, TikTok isn't available right now. A law banning TikTok has been enacted in the US. Unfortunately, that means you can't use TikTok for now. We are fortunate that President Trump has indicated that he will work with us on a solution to reinstate TikTok once he takes office. Please stay tuned! ! Yeah. Because just so many questions, right? Because it's just like, it was out of nowhere. They could have left that first message, right? Like, there was actually no need to change it at all, if you think about it.
Let me see that second one again. Yeah.
And then they go and update it kind of arbitrarily, right? Because it's not like they actually, that wasn't the moment that they put it back up. They just put it back up.
Yeah.
So there was actually no need to put a second message other than, and again, this is my opinion, other than propaganda.
Yeah.
Because why put up a second message at all?
Yeah.
And in that second message, all hail Trump. Like,
what are we doing? Oh my gosh. Like, something I did not realize was that 170 million people got a message saying, thank you, Trump. Like Trump is working on this.
The app that like everyone was trying to save, that is the livelihood of so many people, that has helped so many people, whether it's through their livelihood or whether it's through finding information or finding community, whatever it is. It's impacted a lot of people in a lot of positive ways. To go directly to all those people, the app that they are hoping is salvaged, to be like, who's going to fix everything? You know who's going to save us? I.e., who's going to help save you? Like, we don't see that, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, and again, this is all my opinion. This has not been, it's not like I have a report that verifies everything that I'm saying. No, this is 100% my opinion. This is what we call speculation, my friends. And we have to acknowledge when we all speculate. This is my speculation, but I also call this an educated guess, because 2 + 2 = 4. So like, I just don't get why people don't see it. It's honestly scary to me that people don't see it.
Yeah. And one of the things is it's a lot of people have brought up, and let me bring this up, because I had to Google this. Did Donald Trump start the TikTok ban? Because a lot of people are like, oh, he's the one who started the TikTok ban. There's a whole Wikipedia page to him being the person that started the ban. Like,
so just to clarify for wording, right? Because we also have to be conscious of our words, and this is a message for everyone. When you say, Jay, when you say,
yeah. Sorry, I was reading for you people. I was reading. I'm still trying to figure this out for you.
When you say he was the one that started the ban,
right?
So that's technically not correct, right?
Okay.
Because he didn't start it. He was the one that proposed it. He was the one that first proposed the ban.
Okay.
It didn't go through. It wasn't ever enacted. Like, he's not the one. So
he was the one that proposed the ban. Yes.
Point blank, it was his idea.
Okay.
In the first place. How do you create a problem? How do you literally set the fire after it's like ashes? Come back and be like, oh wait, I can rebuild it. All hail me. All thank me. It is so in your face, like, ridiculous to me that there are people out there, and again, I think it's lack of access to information, lack of, I don't know what, your environment, upbringing, who knows.
Yeah.
But it's terrifying to me that people don't see these things, or the fact that they don't remember like recent news like that.
I mean, people are treating this like the stimulus check,
right?
You know what I mean? That
which he again helped cause the pandemic to be a pandemic.
Yeah.
You can look, we can do a whole episode about that later on. Again, you can take my word for it now. You can take it as opinion, whatever you'd like. But we can do a whole episode later on of how this man knew about the pandemic, knew about COVID, was given ample notice to help prevent it from becoming the mess that it became.
Yeah, and he didn't want to do it for the economy.
Correct. And then
because he was up for re-election.
Correct. So like but then he gives you a little check to give like a little band-aid over
the fact that almost 1 million people died.
Yeah. And he's just like, here's $1,200 or whatever it was. And I'm like, this is unreal.
Wait, how many people died in the U.S. of COVID? See, let's look at the actual number.
You're not sharing screen with people.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna share the screen with the people right here because this number it's a lot, and people gotta see it. It's coming up. There we go. So there were just almost under 112 million cases, and we lost 1.2 million people.
Okay, so wait, this is a perfect opportunity too. So do you know World of Meters? What website is that? Or World of Meters?
World of Meters info.
Is that a legit website?
It was the first one that came up.
And that doesn't necessarily mean legitimacy, my friends.
Look at that. Already. This is why Roots and Real is important.
Yeah,
okay.
It doesn't, just because it comes up first doesn't mean that it makes it legitimate. A lot of companies pay to be the first one that comes up on Google.
Yeah, and you don't know if these numbers could be thrown out there by the left wing or the right wing.
At bare minimum, like .gov or like a reputable website like the New York Times, which again, I guess depending on who you are, you question whether or not it's reputable. Sure, look up several different reputable other websites.
Yeah.
And if they all say roughly the same thing, then that becomes what you go off of as fact. We will have a separate episode on that too.
And this is absolutely true. I mean, right now.
So what are the numbers that New York Times was reporting?
Let me see. The New York Times.
They do an overall.
They didn't do an overall.
Oh well, right, because it's
daily cases, new cases. They're still tracking it, which is.
Well, yeah.
They stopped tracking it in 2023. The cases.
I think they just did, but I do think people are still getting COVID.
No, people are. I mean,
I heard
that COVID was on the rise.
Yeah. Oh, that's why everyone has been wearing masks in New York.
Yeah. So, I don't know. And yeah. So let's. Oh man, this is. See, this is why this is important, because there's so much information out there that I just Googled something, it came up, but I just went with the first website that I saw.
Right. And again, like it's depending on the website, depending on if you know it's a reputable source, and this is something being reputable and what's legitimate and all that stuff. Like I feel like I've trusted the New York Times my entire life, right? Like just to give general overall news. Of course, opinion pieces are different, all that stuff. But there's certain sites and certain sources that I've just trusted kind of throughout and have come across very intelligent, educated people, right? That have trusted them as well. So that's what's building my concept of what is trustworthy, you know, all that. So I when I see something, I don't default assume that it's correct unless it's coming from several reputable sources.
The biggest mistake I made with one story, and it's listen, Netanyahu has done a lot of terrible things. He will have to answer at some point for all his crimes. But there was a story going around that was pretty gruesome of him, and I kept looking it up, and it all kept coming up on websites that were .org. But I didn't really check what the organization was. Yeah. And it was just the information was wrong. But the website, I didn't look up like what stance they had, but it's just, I just know the information was flat out wrong because, but I automatically trust it because it said .org.
Right. So .org, again, for everyone, just means organization, which we know that organizations can be everything from trying to fight against world hunger to the Klan, right? So like technically speaking, organizations can be pretty terrible.
Yeah.
And historically have been pretty terrible.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind, right? Like it's at this point, it's funny because I feel like this is also kind of running how my mind works a little bit, where we're kind of all over the place, but we have a general theme.
We're going to go back to the TikTok ban. Which that was the whole point of this. It was like, we're going to talk about TikTok ban because, all right, already we saw that there was sort of this theory around Trump and why is he so involved? And we're going to actually play from somebody we respect here on the show, AOC.
Yeah.
Because this is important.
I think is a reputable source.
Who I think is a reputable source. And she goes into why are so many people thanking Trump for this
Right.
when he's still a private citizen?
Right.
So let's put her center stage and let's listen to a little bit of what AOC had to say about this. We're gonna go back and forth on this video, but let's listen here. Okay.
Back. Thanks for your patience and support. As a result of President Trump's efforts, TikTok is back in the U.S. First of all, Donald Trump is not president right now. He's a private citizen. He does not have access to presidential powers. He does not have the ability to do any of that.
It's acting like
please understand that TikTok's decision to name Trump in the notification is a choice. They are signaling that they are privately collaborating. They have agreed to privately collaborate with Donald Trump and the Trump administration.
This is a press release.
And for all of those concerns that people were saying that TikTok is going to be used as a propaganda tool by the Chinese, understand they're using it as a propaganda tool for the right. Now, I want...
Let's stop with that one right there because...
And she put it beautifully.
Yeah.
This is a propaganda tool. This is a literal press release. It is one of the big... They know that everyone is on their heels checking TikTok every 2 seconds. Everyone that's a user that is involved in the conversation, that has any interest in it, is rechecking, refreshing to see if they get any further news on it. To choose that platform that has the eyes of the world on it now and put that message across. What else could that possibly be, y'all?
Yeah.
Again, I just leave it to you. What else could that be?
Yeah.
They just want to arbitrarily think a politician directly.
Yeah.
I think she gets into, AOC gets into it in a little bit, where that's not a thing. When companies work out deals and arrangements with governments just for public purposes, right? Whether it's privacy laws, whether it's whatever, that's done in private.
She gets into that?
Yeah.
Let's watch a little bit of that. Let's center stage her again. Okay.
I want you all to put all the pieces together, because what this effectively means is that every social media platform, mass social media platform in the United States, has been taken over by the right wing, with the exception of Blue Sky, but Blue Sky is still very small. Relatively.
Damn, throwing a little shade at Blue Sky.
No, it's not shade. She's just acknowledge you're getting there, Blue Sky. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's a blue.
You'll take those wings and fly.
The Blue Sky that could.
The Blue Sky.
We got you. It's all right.
So
put the pieces together. Elon Musk took over Twitter, and there's open reporting. It's pretty obvious as well that they have manipulated the algorithms. They've artificially manipulated the algorithms to boost right-wing content.
Okay. So yeah, it's we are living under an oligarch. I mean, Biden warned it at the last minute. He knew.
Can we look up, just because I feel like this is another word that everyone keeps throwing around, and a perfect opportunity to kind of get at what we are trying to help people against, right? So if you hear a word, and I know this is going to sound really silly, if you hear a word and you don't know what it means, maybe look it up. Just a thought, maybe let's all, and I know we know what it means, but for the sake of the general public, that I think I'm sure a lot of people that are out there saying, overhearing that word and just thinking they have an idea of what it is. Let's just look it up.
Okay. Oligarchy.
Yeah.
You gonna put me on blast to have to read something?
No, I'm just...
A small group of people having control of a country, organization, or institution. A country governed by an oligarchy. Government by an oligarchy.
So on the right, on Wikipedia, oligarchy is a form of government in which power rests with a small number of people. These people may or may not be distinguished by one or several characteristics such as nobility, fame, wealth, education, or corporate, religious, political, or military control.
Yeah.
Okay, so first and foremost, Wikipedia, as we know, and hopefully everyone recognizes, is actually a crowdsourced site for information, right? Technically you can go in and update a Wikipedia page. If someone happens to come in after you and you messed something up and they see that Wikipedia page, technically they wouldn't necessarily know that that's now wrong.
Right.
So we all need to kind of just acknowledge that. What Wikipedia does, though, that's nice, is that it cites its sources at the bottom of the page, which is probably a section that people just see as a footer, don't even pay attention to, but that's where they cite their sources, right? So then ideally, if you're looking up information, you go to that source, right? Like, so you go down to wherever that page is citing their sources,
Mhm.
go down that rabbit hole and make sure that that source is legitimate, etc. So I just want to bring it up that yes, generally speaking, Wikipedia has done a really good job of updating information
Mhm.
and trying to be, a legitimate source, but realistically, it still kind of functions the way it functions.
Okay.
So if we scroll down,
Mhm. Let's put it back up.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Mm-hmm.
So if you scroll down. If we go to like AP News, Merriam-Webster, which I hope that everyone considers Webster's dictionary a legitimate source, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we're here. So oligarchy, again, government by the few, or a government in which a small group exercise control, especially for corrupt and selfish purposes.
Oh, what? Ding, 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 ding.
Right. Okay. So we'll stop there.
Yeah,
and again,
we'll stop there.
It's very similar to what we saw in the initial Google result.
Yeah.
Right. But when we're trying to find information from legitimate sources, Google is a good resource to find information, i.e., find sources, actually, right? Like Google's AI has now kind of put together responses to things, which again, we'll have probably a whole AI episode and get down that rabbit hole of whether or not AI is legitimate. Answer is not all the time. And yeah, so, but when it comes to a definition, again, Webster's is a pretty legitimate source. So just from that definition, now we all know a government by the few, or a government in which a small group exercises control, especially for corrupt or selfish purposes. Now, when everyone's going around saying we have an oligarchy, my friends, that means that we no longer have a democracy. That means that whatever you want, whatever is your agenda, whatever is your cause that you want to try to fight for, technically there is no one in government that is able to properly represent us.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
It means that the tech friends and Cheeto Face are who is in charge. And that's where we're at, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, and again, I keep not jokingly telling everyone that I talk to about this who thinks that I may be overreacting that, like, you know what? I hope you're right. I hope that I sit here in 4 years and tell you that I hope that you were 100% right and I was wrong and I'm sorry. But like the writing's kind of on the wall a little bit.
I was trying to look up all the tech people that are going to be part of sorry, I see a little lag on the recording here. All right. So all the oligarchs that are going to be in all the tech CEOs that are, because I right now saying oligarch like that, I don't want to.
We don't want to make statements as if they're statements of fact.
Right. But it does seem like we're heading in that direction.
Right.
And all the tech CEOs that are going to be there, people from Uber, which I heard Joy Reid, that's somebody that I know. And this isn't going to be somebody who's a driver. It's going to be all the tech people there.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, everyone just, y'all, like, I just don't, it's scary. It just, again, I'll keep saying it.
Yeah.
It scares me how not serious a lot of people are taking this. And, I admittedly not too long ago was very one of those people who just, kind of made sure my immediate life was stable and the loved ones that I had are stable. And that's kind of it. And yes, I knew that there's a level of politics and all this other stuff that kind of makes the world go round and is very corrupt and has all these issues. But unfortunately, I had the selfish mindset at the time of like, if it wasn't at my doorstep, then there's not really much I can do about it, right? I'm one person.
Yeah.
And I get that mentality. But it wasn't until this last election, and it wasn't until I saw the direct impact that it was making on the people that I love and care about, on a good amount of people, that it unfortunately became at my doorstep, and it took that moment. And I understand why people may have that mentality.
Yeah.
But that's why these kinds of things are able to continue to happen, right? Yeah. Because it's not at everyone's doorstep, fortunately for them, right?
And I mean, even when what is at the doorstep, they're still getting bad information. This is sort of what the whole point of this is going on with the tech oligarchs, is that they're taking over. They're taking over the information.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in our community, let's talk about, a lot of people in Latino got the wrong information. They were getting just fed a lot of, pro-Trump propaganda in our community without any fact checking, because Facebook, Meta, definitely Twitter, YouTube don't do a lot of fact checking in other languages other than English.
Right. And you also have to keep in mind that unfortunately a lot of our countries and our parents and grandparents, their access to information may have been limited from our home countries, right? So like they're used to only having a couple of channels, and that whatever is on TV, if it's not a novela and it's not some like chisme, then it's fact, right?
Yeah.
Like, not for nothing. I don't know if y'all remember Caso Cerrado.
Oh my God, shout out to her.
Doctora Laura.
Oh, you know the name.
Shout out to her, but I remember watching that with my mom, and she would be like, "No, every single that's a real trial. That all those are facts. These are people's lives. What do you mean?" And I'm like, I never looked that up. Maybe we could do like a side episode of that.
Yeah,
That'd be really funny, actually.
Oh, really? Like how real is Caso Cerrado?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
Like you're watching the Jerry Springer documentary and you were
Right.
surprised that most of it was real. All of it was real.
Yeah, like crazy, because I'm just like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And yeah, y'all have to see. I mean, I don't know. That whole show
Fights,
became-
camera, action.
Yeah, it was wild, problematic. Anyways, but with Caso Cerrado, I remember having conversations with my mom, my aunt, grandma, like everybody.
Yeah.
And explaining to them, like, I didn't look it up because I've always acknowledged this if I didn't know something. But I'm like, this doesn't seem like it's real. They're like, nah, that lady, she came through and this guy stole her stuff. Y esto y el otro. And I'm like, okay, Ma, we gotta, So, but yeah, so coming from that culture where everything they see on TV is facts, right? That's why they're more susceptible to infomercials. That's why they're more susceptible, unfortunately, to all this crap that's out there. If they don't have a legitimate news source that's not controlled by some kind of impartial party, i.e. now Univision, unfortunately, and
we're just now also a right-wing propaganda machine.
Right. Like one of the, as we all know as Latinos, Univision is everything. And when you hit that, their main source of information, they will believe everything that is shown on that that site. I mean, on the site, on the channel.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're talking about like all this internet stuff.
Yeah. No, but that's why a lot of people are going to independent media,
right?
To try and get some information about what's going on.
But even with independent media, right? Just acknowledging it. I know that's what we are, and that's what we're trying to help build out and share. But there's a danger in that, right? Because there's a lot of, with independency comes even less oversight, right? Or anyone having to check in on you or check on what you're doing. And there's a lot of danger with that. So that's why we are trying to share how to get to legitimate sources.
And
also to sorry.
No, go ahead.
And also to, because again, going back to the fact that people know the type of work that you do, to kind of help them understand how you get to your end result of what they end up seeing on social media. Unlike, the kind of shorter posts, right?
Yeah, that's what this is like, and this is why we talked about one of the segments before. I don't think we actually wound up saying it all. Is we're gonna have a hashtag show us your work,
right?
When we're talking here about the TikTok ban and how Trump initiated,
he started. It was his idea.
It was, what? And
it was his idea.
Here's actually I got a great one for you that I want to show you here. This is from Okay, this is from Charlie Kirk. Okay, he's a right-wing personality. He tweeted this in July 31st of 2020. I apologize, I got cut off the last day, but I promise it was 2020. Okay, breaking: President at real Donald Trump before he got banned from Twitter. Or was it after? I don't know. We'll see. I don't remember that timeline too well. It's a weird timeline. That was after,
There, a lot has happened.
So many weird timelines here. President at real Donald Trump just announced on Air Force One that he will be banning the evil CCP, Chinese Communist Party, compromised app TikTok. America can't continue to allow citizens to be surveilled by Xi Jinping and terroristic crimes. I have long advocated for this. Fight back. Meanwhile, the dude is on TikTok. Okay, he's been fighting for this, but he has his morals, but he still has to get that following.
So monetizing,
because this is a video he made. So we saw from AOC. So we saw somebody from what they would quote unquote call the left. Now let's listen to somebody from the right talk about how happy they are that TikTok is back because of Donald Trump. All right, let's can we add this guy to the stage?
President Donald Trump. Even those of you that hate President Trump on this platform, you got to give him credit. Joe Biden killed TikTok. President Trump is bringing it back to life. This platform is alive and well thanks to President Trump. And I told you to vote for Trump. He'd make America great again. And this platform will now be protected, stronger than ever, Americanized thanks to President Trump. Joe Biden wanted this thing dead because he did not want the truth to get out. And if you're a liberal watching, honestly, I hope you guys join our movement. It's a movement of free speech, of free ideas. We can agree to disagree, and we just want a strong country. He's becoming president tomorrow at high noon. This platform would not exist if Joe Biden had his way, but President Trump brought it back to life.
Okay.
There's so many things.
So many things.
High noon.
High noon.
First of all, that beverage company, that like vodka seltzer thing, that's High Noon. Which shouts out, y'all. I'm a fan.
We don't have sponsors yet.
Yeah. Well, no, they should go after him. That's bad press for y'all.
It's gonna go down a high noon with a cold one.
Right.
It's gonna be 10 degrees in DC. It's gonna be a cold day in hell when Donald Trump is back. And would you look at that?
Look at that. Hell froze over.
But see, that's the right. They want to Americanize the app.
Which I slightly kind of feel like that just means that American government will have your data now. Like that's really what Americanizing. Like
I heard that as Americanizing as when they say Americans, they mean white people.
Yeah.
They want to make this app great again. That's their slogan. They want to, whatever happened behind the scenes and them basically getting Trump to approve that he's going to sign an executive order come after he becomes president within a few hours. He had to have something in return.
Right.
I am speculating here.
Right.
Okay. And we'll find that out. Maybe we won't, because now internal reports, what do they mean now? Like, how do you get internal reports from the government?
Right.
Donald Trump is not going to give us internal reports.
It's an oligarchy, as we discussed.
We're not going to get information from him.
Yeah, y'all, again.
Oh my God, this might be the one and last Roots and Real, because we might not be able to give them real information.
No. Well, no, that's what we're trying to
That's what we're trying to do. That's why I'm just messing.
Yeah, no. And that's why we have to like work together on this, guys. And again, I think that something that when we tried to do that first Roots and Real episode, that, RIP, that first episode.
Y'all never heard. That was so good. It was about Kendrick Lamar, and it was about Andrew Schultz.
Yeah, Kendrick, we're a fan. Andrew, not so much.
Not at all. Not so much. Not at all. Non-existent over at the Roots and Real camp.
Facts.
And we can get beef. He can get it.
All right. What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm not like that.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just trying to start controversy on the first episode.
No. Anyways, I already forgot what we were even talking about. Jesus.
No, the right wingification of these apps.
No,
that wasn't it.
No, at all. No, it was when we did that kind of like dry run of our first episode. I mentioned that although yes, we are both on the left, as they would say, of that camp. Really, this episode and this show is meant for everybody. It's meant we're trying to show you guys how to critically think, right? And we're trying to show you guys how to question the sources that you see online, the information that you see, and to better educate yourself. Yeah. Yes, is all of that going to ultimately show that most of the points on the left kind of make sense and we care about people? And probably, I'm not gonna, that's just is what it is. That's just facts. All right. And we will try to help you get to the point where you see that is fact. Yeah. Right. But again, if you quote unquote show us your work, right? Hashtag show us your work. All the things. Yeah. If you show us other reputable websites, other sources that are going against what we're saying and they're legitimate sources, right? Like we'll go down the rabbit hole every so often and check them out and help show you why it's not a legitimate source, right? Like we're trying to make this as much as we can. Obviously, this is a YouTube or channel that's going to be in all other platforms. We're trying to make this into a conversation to the extent that we can. And ideally encourage everyone to critically think and question things and just research and just educate yourselves properly and care about educating yourselves because even if it's not at your doorstep now, it will be soon. Yeah.
And also educating, your fellow people, some of the toughest conversations you get to have is at home, with the people you consider family and loved ones and friends. And listen, I'm not saying stick into like toxic conversations or toxic environments. I would never ask anybody to stay in that. But I'll give you an example that happened with my family. It was when Shakira and Piqué divorce was happening, right? See, I'm taking it to like, right. And so many, and so many people in my family were watching this play out on TikTok. and Spanish people, Spanish speaking content, again, does not get fact checked like that. So they were getting a lot of news stories about Pique's new girlfriend being trans. And this is a very dangerous thing to do, because putting that on someone, your trans women experience violence at a much higher rate than anybody. And, their crimes, I think last year was the most dangerous year for trans women, so, and I think specifically Black trans women. So let's not erase that, right. And and it was just so prevalent in the Spanish community that my mom came up to me and she was like, "Oh, did you hear that Pique's new person is trans?" And I was like, "That's not true.
Right.
That is not happening."
Right.
She's like, "Well, I thought I heard it. She was like, "I don't." She was very honest. She's like, "I don't care about it. I just thought I heard it, and I just wanted to know if you heard about it too."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, let's look it up." And I actually sat her down, looked it up, show her like a video too about how this is dangerous. She was like, "Oh, okay, I understand."
Yeah.
And that was kind of a conversation where I felt like there was an opening there for me to teach a little. Let's research this, and even if it was like, but this is how people, by exposing someone, will put them in danger. So there was like, my mom was actually pretty receptive to this very layered conversation.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, and agreed. Like, this is also an opportunity for everyone to be able to share information, because and share good information, things that you've already verified that is correct.
Yeah.
Because the problem is that we all go around saying, "Oh, did you hear this?" Right. And by saying that, now colloquially it's become that what I'm about to tell you is fact.
It's facts.
And I don't understand that. Like, and we'll say, "Oh yeah, we heard it," or "We saw it here." And then the person that's receiving this generally now just kind of takes that and like ignores the part that they saw it some random spot. They will just say, "Oh yeah, so-and-so told me this. This is fact. I will not repeat this." And that is how misinformation, disinformation spreads.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
And that's what we're trying to prevent here.
Yeah.
On Roots and Real. I think, should we leave on a final overall arc that we sort of figured out for this news story that went down? Essentially, why TikTok is back. That is, we're gonna find out when Trump gets back into office, and maybe after he signs this executive order. But my final thought on this, and just seeing how this is becoming such a Trump win, even though he's not in office yet. He's still, at this point, he still has hours left. It is to give him already a win coming in that he doesn't deserve, because we saw that he
created the issue.
He created the issue. Then on the eve of his inauguration, he solves this superpower, comes in. There are talks that he's going to sign about 200 executive orders. If the TikTok one is in there, that's him trying to fluff the numbers.
Right.
So people get, "Oh, TikTok's back," but who knows what he's going to do about immigration? We're going to find that out.
Yeah. And not only, we talked about that, like not only immigration, but just who knows what all those other executive orders are going to have. Right. So like another, again, speculation on our part is that part of this whole TikTok debacle is to kind of like take away the attention of all the other executive orders and all the other things he may be doing while he's getting all this good press, quote unquote, for saving TikTok, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's the scary part, right? Like, what else is in there that we don't know about that won't get a lot of attention or press information circulated about it?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh. And like I said, with all these social media platforms being taken over by oligarchs, it's independent. It's independent people like us. So we actually have a newsletter called We Are More News.
Yeah.
And to let people know, we are more than they say we are. And also there are more of us. We are more.
Yeah.
And you can sign up for that on the website, cheguerrero.com, where you can find all of our social media platforms. You can find, other news articles and things I've been in, and and know how to contact us. And if you see a news story, send it to us, and we'll look it up. We'll do some research, and we'll present it on the show. And like we were saying, listen, if we're gonna start this already, hashtag show us your work. You want to dive a little bit deeper into the TikTok ban, things we didn't cover. I know there's so much. We just covered the aspect of Trump, and that was almost an hour.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on the other AOC video where she talks about how when it was first presented to them, to like the House and everyone, that they didn't even provide any legitimate kind of evidence of an actual national security threat or something, or like any kind of evidence that was remotely really
that's what that's sort of what we were trying to a lot of people on TikTok were saying, that even the TikTok company did not understand what the ban was about because the paperwork that the U.S. government showed to the case were so heavily redacted, they didn't even know what it was behind there.
Right. And you have to be able to prove your case. Like, even if it's like the venue is the United States and you're on home turf and you're the plaintiff, whatever, like you should still be held to some level of accountability to prove your case. Like, you can't just be like, oh, well, the plaintiff is the US and we're in the US, so the US wins. Like, that's
well, that's the U.S.
Right.
That's how the U.S. think. I have a U.S. flag, so technically, U.S. people always think that their the laws of their country follow them everywhere.
Yeah.
That they take precedent over anyone else. Did I say that word right? Because I always have a hard time saying that word. Precedent.
No.
Damn it.
You said president, like the president of the
I
United
can never
States.
say the other one.
Precedent.
Precedent.
Yes.
That's how you say it. Precedent.
You
okay.
Yeah,
I can't say that word.
See, it's okay. We acknowledge our flaws on Roots and Real because we keep it real.
We'll keep it real. Roots and real. But yeah, no, the TikTok ban was motivated by the U.S. government not being able to maintain the narrative when it came to global geopolitics.
Yeah, I mean, it just, for me, it was just such an obvious in-your-face moment of like, TikTok is being used as the pawn in this little political game, but so obviously that it's like almost laughable that I'm like, people actually falling for this. Like, no one's like, there's people out there really not questioning this.
Yeah.
Not being like, oh, that's really convenient that this man just came out of nowhere and was just like, oh, I'm going to fix this.
Wow. I just realized that what AOC is even more profound because TikTok was, by not being the one social media platform that was owned by conservatives, essentially, you know, it was the outlier in the group, allowing for other voices to find, you know, discourse that we needed to be having about the Democratic Party.
Right.
And, you know, and also being very against Trump could have won bigger if probably hadn't been for all the people on TikTok and on the left trying to get these news out there.
Right.
And now that it's taken over by whatever Trump did behind the scenes, really, yeah, there is. How do we know that a lot of good information is not going to be suppressed?
We don't know that. And that's why we have our newsletter.
Yes, we have our newsletter. Let's bring that back up.
Well, actually, no, there was that clip of what AOC was talking about, right? Where we
are more news.
Where she was mentioning the importance of newsletter
and
finding.
That's right.
And finding information from other sources, right? Because big tech, unfortunately, is now controlled primarily by a particular side.
Yeah.
And either right. And we now have to look to other news sources, right? And cool, if you don't necessarily want to do the work and you don't want to like look stuff up and all that stuff, hopefully us going through these types of projects and these types of, you know, videos and content will show you that we take this seriously. We'll show you that we are trying to do the work. We're trying to stay up to date on how to look out for false news. And trying to share those kinds of tips with you guys as we go along too. But the goal is that we help each other out and finding real information, especially in this upcoming administration.
Yeah. And, you know, thank you for listening to the first episode. Thank you for putting up with all the tech issues. But the more people listen, because our equipment right now, it's you know, we're
going to have a behind the scenes one.
We're going to have a behind the scenes. We're going to keep it real with you of how much this is old laptops and monitors that were given to me by friends. Okay. But we have to start somewhere because this is the most, you know, raw kind of, let's get the data in so we give people the right stuff because hey, listen, we're independent as hell.
As you can tell. We'll try to have a better course of, I feel like we went everywhere in this conversation.
No, I feel like the conversation we did have the importance of, hey, let's look up the oligarchy. Let's look up,
it is important,
you know, let's look up these words. Let's find out, look, the data that you looked up, was that a reputable source? We had a lot of great moments that people are going to walk away going, you know what? They weren't afraid to check each other.
That's right.
And that's what a lot of people can be afraid to check each other on the information. Be like, yo, where'd you get that from? Yo, check yourself. I said some stupid things. We'll not talk about that because I won't tell you a story for the 9th time. But guys, thank you so much for listening to the episode. We'll have another episode out for you soon. look out for that. As always, look us up on social media, cheguerrero.com, to find all the stuff we're doing, find all social media on there, find the newsletter.
Yeah. And share with your friends, share good information, y'all.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe, leave a comment, hit that ring bell, do all that. I don't know all these buttons yet.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure them out. Hey. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't know all those buttons on YouTube. Too many buttons. Too many buttons.
Where's Waits Want Us? Okay, and we're out.
We're out. Take it
Thanks,
easy.
y'all.
See you soon. Bye.